So this is the last identification for this week's class and should complete your classroom time for History 105 for this week. Um, so you can work on it during classroom time where it would normally be the dismissal at 12:20, and you can work on what you haven't finished later in the day. So this last one is on inventions. Just do 47 sentences on this one. Um, but also, this is a practice identification that will help and that you'll be using next week in the midterm. I'll give you more information on that later. Okay, so inventions, general inventions in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Um, there's quite a few, actually. We're just going to cover some of the most well-known, um, some that may have been brought up in class. The large one of the largest is the light bulb, which is really called the incandescent. Uh, it is an incandescent device, but it is a light bulb, and it was invented by Thomas Edison. There were others working on the light bulb at the time, but he came up with the best version. Um, and it was invented by at the time, and certainly changed life for many people. And as time went by, it changed life for everyone. Its factories could stay open, but also it increased safety where houses were lit up by gas flames or candles, and certainly lights came to the cities, and as well as marquees and buildings, and really changed the world quite a bit. More on Edison and the light bulb. Edison and the light bulb. So this obviously brought more jobs, not just in the factories, but working in theaters or working uh, restaurants that could stay open later. Certainly for leisure life, it improved life. And like it says, Edison had 1,093 patents, which means government patented new inventions, which is in the cover also in the book. Another reference to electric light, but also Edison as well as Westinghouse. Like one student mentioned, is the electrical power grid, which was created by Edison and an inventor named Westinghouse, in which power lines were brought to uh, most houses and buildings, and replaced gas power and replaced whale oil or candles or other things that created light in houses, apartments, and buildings. And huge power stations had to be built, and Edison and Westinghouse really created a system for that and began to lay power lines all across the United States, bringing jobs also to those working in the field of electricity. Another invention was the telephone, created by Alexander Graham Bell, who really was trying to create a hearing aid because his mother was deaf, and he ended up creating the telephone. Um, you have the phonograph, created by uh, Edison, another invention of his, which revolutionized listening to music. You could listen to music now at home and not just have to go to a theater. So it was much more economical and cheaper. And the beginning of records and recorded music, and as we know later, became the CD, and now, of course, with streaming of music. The invention of the typewriter, another invention. I'm sure you can think of other inventions yourself. The invention of airplanes was created in 1903, the first airplane by the Wright brothers, which was another large change in history, in United States history and in world history, the invention of a plane. And again, we see another picture of that first airplane. So think of any inventions you can. You can add any information you have about inventions or other inventions that you can think of. Okay, that's great. Um, okay, so do these IDs that we've covered, and that will be our class for today. And these IDs will, again, help you in the midterm and be very important in the midterm next week. And then, of course, do 4 to 7 sentences on each ID. You can take as much time as you take. I would guess between 10 to 15 minutes per ID. You have more time and more flexibility now to how you're going to work on these IDs and how long it's going to take you. But I would say the general guideline between 10 to 15 minutes. For some, they'll work a little faster or however, but this way I think you can do a good ID. Okay.